Hey guys, welcome to Streak Initiative, and this week we are covering your geography related prelims question that are important things that were there in your current affairs, and use these videos as a break in between your preparation so that you can revise some of the topics. I do try to bring in some new topics so that you can just revise some of new ideas. So without much ado, let's get to the first question of the day. Now, this question is about Sahel region. Now, a lot of time you see a lot of questions from world geography that are picked up. Like even last year, there was this question from world geography related to a river that was there in South Africa. Then earlier, there have been questions related to matching the mountain ranges. So, yes, so your world geography related questions are very important. They keep on cropping up, not every year, but after 2 or 3 years or so. So this is important. So we are talking about Sahel region. Now, Sahel region is not geographically also important, but it has been in news because of a lot of geopolitical reasons also. So this should be pretty much clear. So you have to identify which all countries are actually part of this region. So we've got Senegal, Mauritania, Cameroon, Egypt, Ethiopia, and Kenya. And you have to identify which is the correct combination of answers given in the option. Now, if you have the basic idea of what Sahel region is, see, basically, Sahel region is this eco-climate and geographic realm, which is like a transition zone. So it's a transition between the Sahara region that lies to the north, which is a very dry and desert kind of condition, to your savanna region, which lies to the south. Now, savanna is something, again, you get these grassland kind of region in the African continent. So, transition between these two areas is known as Sahel region, right? So, if you have this common understanding of what Sahel region is, then I think you can easily eliminate some of the options from here. So, if you look at the answer here, now if you look at Egypt, now Egypt in African continent is located right at the top, right? So obviously it cannot be a transition. It cannot be in a transition area, right? So again, Egypt will not be a part of it. Now, again, you don't really have to know where these countries are located. Just use your common sense here. Egypt is right located on the top. So, it cannot be part of a transition zone. Rather, it is the part of the Sahara region. I told you there's 2 transition zones here. So, from Sahara, you go to Savannah, and in between, we've got Sahel region. So, again, Egypt will not be part of this. Now, again, look at another option here, Kenya. Now, Kenya is way below on the map. If you have basic understanding of the African map, you'll know that Kenya is located a bit below. And again, that would come under the portion of your savanna region, right? So again, that is not an option which is going to be there. So if you eliminate these two, 4 and 6, you remove 4 and I think you're just left with the option C, and that is the correct answer here. So you have the answer which is C, and I think we just attempted this question by using your common sense. So again, have a at least have a general idea about the maps, about the regions that are there in the atlas. You just revise your atlas, and I think that will be good enough for this kind of question. So talking a bit more about Sahel region, like I told you, this is a transition zone between the Sahara and the Savannah region. So it extends from your Red Sea region to your Atlantic region. So all the countries that come in between are actually very much part of it. So it's a semi-arid region, not completely desert, but a semi-arid region. And we've got a couple of countries. We've got 13 countries which are actually part of this particular region. So you've start from Senegal, you've got Mauritania, you've got Mali, you've got Burkina Faso, you've got Algeria, Nigeria, Cameroon, Central African Republic, Chad, Sudan, Ethiopia. So all these countries are actually part of your Sahel region, right? One more thing that I talked about was that this region is in news also because of geopolitical reasons. Like you see in this particular region, you have a lot of politically, it's been a very turbulent region. You have unstable government. It has been news and because of lot of clashes between various tribes and all those things. So yeah, this region is also there in news because of all these reasons. Right, so the answer for this question is C. Let's move on to the next question. We were talking about geography, so we've got a geography related question with respect to India. Now here we're talking about the state of Sikkim. And you have to identify whether these four places are located in the Indian state of Sikkim or not. So first we've got Nathula, then we've got Guru Dogmar Lake, and then Kanchenjunga, and then this Jaldapara Wildlife Sanctuary. Now, I think two of the options are the most easiest to guess here, and you know that Nathula and Kanchenjunga are present in Sikkim, right? And if you do not even know that, I think you need to revise your geography very fast, because these are very common places to know. So if you know this, then I think you can eliminate C option. So yeah, you need to know a bit more. Now, Guru Dogmar Lake is also located in Sikkim. If you go through some of the lakes that are present in Sikkim, this lake is also present, and in fact, it's a kind of a sacred place also, because Guru Nanak Ji had actually come on to this particular lake. So in that ways, it's revered also, and this place has a certain kind of religious and spiritual tone that is attached to it. So this lake is also present in Sikkim. Now, Jaldapara Wildlife Sanctuary is not present in Sikkim. It is present in West Bengal. Now, again, you have to mug up these facts a bit with respect to national parks, wildlife sanctuary, tiger reserves. Which state are they located in? Because sometimes they directly ask you that question. So that kind of mugging up you have to do. You cannot escape that. Talking about Sikkim. So Sikkim just has one national park, which is your Kanchenjunga National Park, which is again very important. You've had previous year questions asked upon it. Other than that, there are wildlife sanctuary. We've got Pangloka Wildlife Sanctuary, Phambong Loho Wildlife Sanctuary, Kyong Shola Alpine Sanctuary, Mayam, Barse, Shingpa. So all these are wildlife sanctuary that are present in Sikkim. So yeah, revise. I think especially with respect to Northeast, make sure you're aware about all the wildlife sanctuary and the national park. That region is very important. Because they do bring up some of the questions after 1 or 2 years. So that region is important. So the answer for this particular question is A. Only 4 is not present in the state of Sikkim. Next, we are looking at another kind of a different topic that usually is not covered in your NCERT. So the statement is talking about polar wandering. Now, you have to identify which statement is correct here. The first statement says that it means that migration of magnetic poles over the Earth's surface through geological time. This is basically the definition of polar wandering. Second is true polar wandering actually represents the shift in geographical poles relative to Earth's surface after accounting for the motion of tectonic plates. Now, the concept of polar wandering. Now, this is something that is not directly given in your NCERT, and I think this was kind of a new topic. So that is why I introduced this question here, so that you can just get some knowledge about it. I don't think it's a very, very important topic for your prelims, but having that knowledge is important. So, when we talk about polar wandering, now polar wandering is actually the idea of motion of poles with respect to your reference point. Now, one thing we all know is that the magnetic poles of the Earth, they keep on shifting, right? They are not stationary. Like you had the magnetic pole somewhere below, somewhere around Greenland. Now it has, over the years, it has shifted towards the area of Siberia, like closer to the North Pole. So that kind of shifting of magnetic pole is actually known as polar watering, right? So that is the idea behind polar watering, that magnetic poles, because of the Earth's rotation, they keep on shifting over some period of geological time period, right? So why is this polar wandering or the change in the magnetic poles happen is because there is this rearrangement of the mantle and the crust. And in order to align the maximum inertia with respect to that rotation of the Earth, we have the magnetic poles which are shifting, right? So that is the basic idea behind what is polar wandering. And the first statement is very much correct, that it signifies the migration of magnetic poles. In fact, a lot of scientists say that after a lot, like the time period is very long, I think somewhere around 4 lakh years later, what happens is there's this complete reversal of the poles of north and south, right? They say that will also happen on that also happens on Earth. We already know that happens in the sun's core, right? Like every 11 years there's this transition that happens. So that kind of change in the magnetic poles is what we're talking about here also with respect to the Earth's surface. Now the second statement is talking about true polar wandering, and it says that it actually shows the shift between geographical poles relative to Earth's surface. Now, see, magnetic poles and your geographical poles are completely different. Now, magnetic pole might, geographical poles are directly straight line that goes through your north and south pole, creating a symmetry between your two sides of the Earth, right? But magnetic poles keeps on shifting as per the Earth's geomagnetism, right? So when we're talking about true polar, wanderism, what happens is, now this is basically a theory which says that it's a geophysical theory, that it's a way of thinking that the Earth processes, all the Earth processes that is happening on the Earth's surface. Like if there's an object of sufficient weight on Earth, like take an example of a supersized volcano, right? So this volcano, if erupts and gradually creates a certain amount of weight that is created on the Earth. Now, in order to balance that kind of weight that is created on the Earth, this imbalance is actually balanced through shifting that mass towards the Earth's equator, right? So one thing is, when we're talking about plate tectonics, is the movement that is going beneath the Earth's surface, right? Now, true polar wandering is something of a theory that scientists consider when the weight of the crust or the landforms that is created over the crust, how does that affect the imbalances that is created on the Earth's surface and the inertia, because we are moving on Earth, because the Earth is moving on its rotation. So how that imbalances affects the rotation and the actual, geophysical poles. That is the idea behind your true polar wandering, right? So basically that is the idea here. Again, you don't have to go deep into that idea. Basically, you have to understand that polar wandering is all about how magnetic poles are changing, and true polar wandering is about how the geographical poles related to Earth's surface, when there's activities on the Earth's crust, like there's volcanic eruptions, other things that are happening, that would act, that would change the symmetry of Earth's surface. So all those, not on a smaller scale, but over the time of years, like you consider a huge time of years, then it would obviously have certain impact on the rotation and the inertia through which the Earths rotate. So that is the idea here. So second statement is also very much correct. Both the statements here are true. Let's move on to the last question of the day. Again, something of a new concept. Like you've always in your static portion, you've studied a lot of volcanic related features. Like you've studied dikes is there, then other basaltic tomb, all these structures are related to your volcanoes, right? Now, what do you mean by pseudo-volcanic features? Now, pseudo-volcanic features are certain topographic features which would resemble like a volcanic structure, but they are not of volcanic origin. In fact, they are non-volcanic origin, right? So this question is about that, and you have to identify which of these features are pseudo-volcanic features. So number one, we have a salt plug. 2, we have a meteoroid crater, and 3, we have mud volcanoes. Now, the answer for this particular question is actually D. All of them are non-volcanic origin kind of structures. 2 is, I think, pretty much easily understood. Meteoroid craters are something when the Earth's surface is hit by a meteoroid and you get that structure that is created. Like in India, also we have a lake in Maharashtra which is formed because of these meteoroid crater. So it has nothing to do with volcanic eruption. So yeah, so that is also there. So 2, you can easily identify that it is not related to anything volcanic. Mud volcano might look like it has a volcanic structure, but it is not. It's basically when you have superheated water within the Earth's surface, and it rises up and it mixes with the minerals and the muds that is there in the path, and there is eruption of actually this mixture of mud that comes on the surface. So it actually looks like erupting small volcanoes, but ultimately it's not lava that is coming out. It's just mud and all that mixture that comes out of this region. And third, we have salt plugs. Now, salt plugs are also formed because of underground salt depositions, which come at high pressure, and they, kind of becomes like a dome. So they might look like that basaltic dome, but they are not. They are basically your salt structured, which are formed in that shape. So also this has nothing to do with your volcano. So all these 3 are actually your pseudo-volcanic structures. So I think that's it, guys, for today. So I believe I was I believe there was something that you learned new in this video. And all the best for your prelims. Keep on studying, keep on revising, and keep on practicing. Thank you so much.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update from Civilsdaily.